Hello! I want to speak about my rapport and dealings and relationship with country music. So, being an Italian born person who speaks English as a second language, but anyway as a first language, I know I've been teaching the language and it's I have a love for this language, but with the language comes also the culture, the music, and I like music that is embedded in the American culture, what we call Americana, grassroots music. And I've been listening to jazz since I was 14. The kind of jazz I was listening to, and I'm still listening to, it's also a kind of grassroots jazz. It's Dixieland, it's swing, it's bebop, early bop. I've been listening to all sorts of jazz, even free. But what strikes a chord, it's a good expression when you speak about music, is the kind of jazz that is verges on other kinds of music, the kind of jazz that is so close to Jimmy Rogers music or to blues. So some people think that country music is so far apart from jazz. Yes, the latest form of country music that are more commercialized. Some people think all kind of music is commercial. I don't think so. Not in Italy, at least. Our pop, our kind of rock, kind of blues thing. Well, you know what? I know there are, there is some crossover music, but I don't like diluted country. To me, it's better a piece of country music with electric guitar than a fake, just with a hat, some boots, and some paraphernalia. Kind of country music with acoustic guitar that it's so pop. I know, and that's a thought of mine, that pop stems from country music when it comes to chord progression and other things, but it's another kind of music. There is a lot of music that is close to the oldest pop. This Patsy Cline, it was so 50s, and there was these tercinas, I don't know, I forgot in English, ta 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 triplets, kind of accompaniment that is so 50s and 60s. But I started listening on a regular basis to country music in 2004. I was coming back from America, where I met the music of Patsy Cline. I already knew Hank Williams, but since I didn't have the internet, and for a long time I didn't even know his face. And when I saw him, it was a completely different man. I didn't know anything other than his name and his songs. I had 3 CDs. A banjo player gave to me a banjo. Yes, he played 4-string banjo, but I think he played also 5-string banjo in country music. Now I already, at that time I didn't play any string instrument, just clarinet, and I started on the trumpet. Here it is. At that time, then I added the trombone, and now I prefer the trombone. That's another kettle fish. I prefer more low-tuned instruments. That's why I have a mandocello and a baritone guitar. Something between tenor, something between, yes, baritone, between a tenor and a bass. So I started listening. I found some CDs and some stalls, you know, on the streets, very cheap, 2-3 euros CDs. At the time I didn't have the internet. I got it very late. I mean, I'm an old fart. I mean, I'm not much in technology. If you see my videos, I don't edit, I don't do anything. So a student of mine told me why I want to buy an instrument, either an ukulele or a guitar. I didn't know anything about ukuleles at the time, and I preferred ukuleles, so he started in a ukulele. I started in ukulele. After some months, he started, bought a good ukulele. It ended up he quit ukulele. I forged on. And what is the easiest kind of music if you want to sing and strum along? Country music. Country music is in this form. There are, yeah, virtuoso country music, Johnny Highland and others, but generally speaking, is a music that is more down to earth. Harmonically, it's easy. It is, basically it is, like it is also Dixieland is easy harmonically. Country music didn't move to that more complex form that jazz has, other than mixing with other music, rather than developing something that happens when you have around you, like Italian language. Sometimes you already have English, you get the words from English, rather than developing your words from the roots and the words of your own language. Anyway, so I started on a ukulele. The problem with the ukulele, there are 2 or 3 problems. First, the problem is the ukulele is high-pitched, and in the long run, as a accompanying instrument, is rather annoying, because the voice, male voice, is down and the accompaniment is above. It should be the other way around. So I started learning baritone ukuleles, and I have more than one. Actually, I have 4. You see there. I have become a baritone ukulele lover. If you see my baritone ukulele page on Facebook, is mine. It's the first in the whole web. It's 1,000 likes. Doesn't sing a lot, but you're speaking about an instrument that it's not that, known, and on my own it took me years to get more than 1,000 likes, and as a matter of fact is the most liked baritone page, not group. There are some groups that have more. I have a group more members, but my idea of a group is serious, so I don't go for quantity, but I go for quality. So from the baritone ukulele, you have the 2 strings and you have a guitar. So I started on a guitar 2 years, I think, after my first ukulele. Now I sold it, and it was a Dreadnought by Washburn. It was a low laminate, frets were all quite worn out. I didn't think to, and I got it for months hanging on a wall. I had it there, and did it sound well. I didn't know anything about guitars. It seemed so strange to play an instrument with the steel strings, and I had to learn chords, extra, you know, the 2 extra string, and slowly I got into guitars. So I bought my first electric guitar, which still have as a code this style. Actually I have 3 Strat styles guitar. The Colt that I have to modify and get very good pickups. I think I will get very good pickups. I have a Fender made in Mexico, very beautiful, and this that I like, and is my go-to Strat. You know, I have the better one, but I play this. This is Hall Band. But I also, for the electric guitar, for a while I set it aside. I didn't find a good sound, and the other one, the Colt, didn't sound that good. And I progressed on acoustic guitar. I still play classical guitar that sounds a little bit more like ukuleles, having 9 strings. And I learned a lot about country music. I even got a book. There is a book from the 70s. That is somewhere Is it true that when you're looking for something, ek means here it is, ek. The second is called a series of articles about country music artists. It's a 70s book. It's a very rare book. Edited by Bill C. Maloney and Judith McCullough. Editor, okay, this is the book. It's always beautiful to have a real, or other than all the things you get on the web. So I started to know, everybody knows Johnny Cash's songs, I want you to say, Hank Williams, Buck Owens, Lefty Frizzell, Ernest Tubb. I have a way and a voice, I'm not rational, a voice like Ernest Tubb. There's something that connects me very easily to Ernest Tubb. I never seem to get the right twang 100%. I have some nasal thing, I try to yodel, I'm not that good, sometimes I'm good, I'm better than I was some years ago. So I improved a lot my singing. I have to improve my chops on guitars. In the meantime, I sometimes I eat more than I can chew. I added 4 instruments tuning 5th, like tenor guitar, C, G, D, A, and all mandola, and I have the other ones that are C, D, E, C, D, A, E, which is the Irish bouzouki. And those are the instruments that I regularly learn how to read, learn how to read music for I practice reading for these instruments. Then I have this idea of getting guitars that didn't really make me a better guitar player, but made me all these instruments make me hug a guitar easily, embrace that. Okay, I have it. Oh, I haven't played this today. I'm gonna play a Strato. Or I'm gonna play a Tele-like instrument or Les Paul-like instrument. Most of them are cheap. This sounds very good. I got it second-hand at 85 euros. It's a bargain. I always get bargains. Okay, that's another story. So I have these amounts of guitars, these amounts of I also use my first instrument that started in 1974, 77, which is the recorder. Today I recorded for the first time a looper, a song, and I recorded the guitar play part and the recorder part. So I started playing all sorts of country music, George Jones, but not really contemporary country music that I don't like because it doesn't feel like country to me. And that's my story with country music. A jazz player, because I played a lot of jazz, both on the clarinet and sometimes on the trombone. Very strange. How a jazz player develop an interest for country music. Some two different words. You know, after years of jazz, I find it very stereotypical, the way all jam station always sing songs, some snotty attitude. I found country music more down to earth. Lyrics are more interesting. Sometimes lyrics are more lewd. Then jazz are more salacious. How to put it? They have a bite, a punch. Jazz lyrics, for the most part, were written by people who write lyrics, and they were for the bourgeoisie. Country music, if they're the uncouth person, for the yodel is the singing, for the hillbilly person, and all those people left behind, white people. I have no problem with race. Country music is for white people what blues is for black people. Okay? No doubt about it. The only problem is that some people think, okay, country music is shit, blues is better. It's normal that blues is more all over the place, played by white people. So I would say something. Country music is intrinsically more white than blues is black. I know people don't want to speak about race, but race, if you are free to speak about race, it means race is not an issue anymore. Okay? So, to me, it's not an issue. Many country songs have a blues, have not blues chord structure, and actually the whole country music, rock and roll, is a meeting of country music guitar, country music solos, country music arrangement and sound, electric sound, which was invented by white people for white music. That's the gist of it. And when I say white music, I mean country is not 100% white, nor is jazz. There's always a crossover. But anyway, players were, for the most part, 99% white. And when this white technique, usually these people had more access to, learning, teachers and anything, met the soul and the expression of blues, you have rock and roll is natural glycerin with this two materials that together are explosive. And sometimes people forget the importance of country music. The first generation of rock and roll players always played also sheer country songs. They played, we speak about Mr. Balls of Fire. I have a brain fart. Elvis Presley. Everybody had a blues and a country background. Okay. Mostly in the late years, they became more and more country players and singers than in the first years. I was speaking about rock and roll artists. So country music is very important. Without country, you wouldn't have the pop the way you know it. You wouldn't have rock and roll the way we know it. Sometimes it's so underrated, so underrated as music. I like singing, country singing. I like sometimes easy songs, easy chords. You take Hank Williams. He made such beautiful melodies, with basically you can have, I don't know, 10 kinds of chord structures and not many, and he developed many songs with the same I Can Help It and Cold Heart. Basically it's the same structure. So somebody asked me about my country music conversion, so to speak. Another thing is, in Italy, country music is not very important. Sometimes they dance country music. What is the name of that dance? Yes, God. Anyway, when they are on the same line together, but there's not, sometimes with the recordings, sometimes there's not country music culture in Italy. There's a lot of blues culture, there's a lot of jazz, rock, but country music is really the underdog, every time, oh, you need to play fast, oh, there's rock and roll for that. If you play country music fast with an electric guitar, with some places they don't have country music culture, you are playing rock and roll, which is a perfectly fine music, but it's not country music. If you catch my drift. Oh no, I like country music also for ballads, and should never be so up tempo. That's typical white people, okay? So I'm not racist and speaking ill about white people. They take some music that is fine, also blue, they make it also faster and faster and faster. Yeah, but if you have a lot of expression and you don't make everything better just because it's faster. You don't make food better just because it's more spicy. Sometimes I make these mistakes myself. Speaking about electric guitars, for one thing, Stratocasters are perfectly fine country music instrument with the right pubs they don't have. I discovered, oh, this pub are perfect for country music. Nancy is $400. Holy shit! That must be very good for $400. Anyway, so to make a long story short, I think that you don't necessarily need an acoustic guitar to play country music. If your sound is in your mind, this kind of guitars, the Telecaster, has been in country music since its inception, the way we know it. Since country music was not just folk music, but was country music, because they're very similar in a way, but they're not the same thing. So we have the steel guitar, which is the sound of Hank Williams, of classical country music. Telecaster is, let's take a steel guitar, let's make a plank, let's make a Spanish style guitar, and the only thing missing to make the instrument more like a steel guitar with this. And funnily enough, the Telecaster doesn't have the whammy bar, which make the instrument do things that are similar. No, it's not the same thing obviously, but similar to a steel guitar. So I would say a Telecaster with a Bixby or whatever. There's also the G Bender that is by only one string. It's a perfect country music tool in absence of a steel string player, steel guitar player. So I expressed a lot of thoughts on country music, not all of them, but now you know how I started, when I started, what I'm doing, all my feelings. I have a lot of feelings, and I have to shoot another video in Italian about some things. Anyway, this is my speaking about country music video.